Hey, 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 it's your girl Priscilla A with the Married to My Soap Opera podcast. The General Hospital recap for January the 31st through February the 4th. Okay, y'all, so let's get started. Pretty good week here that we just had on GH. So Carly goes over to talk with Michael, and you guys, it's just so sweet how concerned he is about his mom and how she's handling um, what Sonny did to her in the news about him and Nina coming out and everything. It is really, really sweet. So Michael was actually in the middle of a conversation with Willow when Carly stops by to have a heart to heart, and he's planning on taking Willow to Paris. So Willow is looking for her birth certificate, you guys, and she can't find it. And so once she realizes that she can't find it, she ends up calling to see if she can get a copy of it from public records. And y'all, guess what? They don't have a record of Willow's birth at all. They do not have her birth certificate. So now she's on a hunt to find it, because she needs it to get this passport to go to Paris. Heck, if I was going to Paris, I'd be looking around for my birth certificate too and trying to get another copy. So Sonny ends up running into Ned and Leo at the hospital, and Sonny and Ned actually end up having a pretty cool chat. They are talking about their women, since they're, close friends and very much, alike. And Ned tries to give Sonny some advice. Sonny is telling him about this big gesture that he's gonna do to try to win Carly back. And Ned just got his wife back, so he tries to tell Sonny that might not be the way to go if Carly's really just wanting him to give her space. But you guys, Sonny was off his medication and he just got back on it, and I don't think it's kicked in yet. We pick up with Stella and Curtis hanging out at the pub, and they run into Marshall. And Stella ends up having a private conversation with Marshall, and she's getting on to him about why he misled Curtis into believing that he's in witness protection. So y'all, that's not the truth. Are y'all surprised? Probably not, because I'm not surprised either. Not with Marshall. Let's go talk about the teens. So you guys, Trina finally comes out of the room, and she doesn't remember a thing that happened the night before. All she remembers is drinking a hot toddy. She does not remember anything that Esme said or did, or what she said or did in response, or any of that. So she and Josh talk about, Josh fills her in, on what happened. And Josh asks her if she has an issue, a problem with her and Cam dating and everything. And Trina really just kind of blows it off and, says that she's fine with it. And she and Josh and Cam, they all make up and have a good time, head home. Anyway, that's your recap for Monday, January the 31st. All right, you guys, let's talk about Tuesday. Not a whole lot actually happened on Tuesday. Tuesday was Ned and Olivia's vow renewal day. So Maxie was over at the Quartermaines, getting the place ready for the ceremony. And a few of the typical guests in Port Charles showed up, who you would expect. Carly, of course, was there helping Olivia get ready. Chase, Brooklyn, the rest of the Qs. Sonny showed up, of course. And Sonny was determined to try to spend some time with Carly. So he and Carly talked, and they had a really cordial conversation, which, I think was a pretty good start. It was nice to see them able to at least have a good conversation together, though he's still, kind of aggressive and all over the place in his conversation with her and wanting to get her back. Drew actually ends up talking with Carly quite a bit at the ceremony, and he fills Carly in on Sonny's blow up. And y'all, Carly still hasn't figured out that the man is off his meds or was having a bipolar manic episode. You would think she would be putting two and two together by now, as well as she knows him. But she's just so focused on wanting space from him that she's not even really seeing the signs. Christina and Alexis finally have a talk about Alexis's relationship, her friendship with Harmony. And they actually have a really long, detailed heart-to-heart about the situation. And ultimately, Christina gives Alexis her blessing. And, she says that Harmony in the end was really another victim of Shiloh's, just like she was. And she doesn't want to come between her mom and Harmony because Harmony seems to be a really, really good friend to her mom. Austin and Britt actually end up talking about Austin's kiss with Maxie. And he's just wanting to get some advice as to what the kiss might have meant. And Britt tells him, hey, you got to ask Maxie that. She's the only one who can tell you what that kiss really meant. But she's really excited for Austin and Maxie. And she's really rooting for them. And it's just cool to see what a friendship that they are developing. But how will Brad react to that as her really jealous and possessive BFF? But I love Brad and Britt's friendship. It's pretty cool. Anyway, that's your recap for Tuesday.
Prom's coming up. We're going, right?
I know my good two shoes cousin ain't giving it up. Now me on the other hand.
How's everything looking? I got to be in tip-top shape for my first college game.
It's one of the best quarterbacks I've ever coached.
Dwayne, we need to talk about your results.
Why, is something wrong?
Download the Louisiana Film Channel app now and let bon ton du
All right, so let's talk about Wednesday. So Carly finds out that Sonny's planning this big surprise for her. And so she takes him down to the gatehouse to confront him about it. And they go back and forth about her saying she wants space and not wanting a big gesture, and him telling her how much he loves her and how he just wants to show her. And he ends up telling her what the surprise is. Y'all want to know what the surprise is? I know I wanted to know. So he is recreating one of their weddings. I believe their first wedding in St. Martinique is what he's creating for her. And so, Carly is like, oh, wow. As far as grand gestures go, that would be the one. That would be one that would take her breath away. And it seems like for a minute she's considering it because it's so romantic. But she won't agree to meet him on the Haunted Star. And he tells her he's going to be there waiting for her to show up. Even though she's telling him that she may not. He's going to be standing there waiting. I'm like, oh. Oh, that's typical Sonny. All right, let's talk about Harmony and Alexis. So Harmony, she goes to see Alexis because Willow calls her, meets with her, asking her if she has a copy of her birth certificate. And Harmony is obviously nervous, but she agrees to look for Willow's birth certificate and give her a copy of it. So Willow's thinking everything is fine. She's going to be able to get this passport and go to Paris. And meanwhile, Harmony rushes over to see Alexis and confides into Alexis that she was living on a commune at the time. And so the birth certificate that Willow had was not a real birth certificate. And she needs to know what to do. And of course, Alexis agrees to help her. at the end of Ned and Olivia's wedding, WSB agents show up to arrest Tracy, y'all. They say that the part of the Ice Princess that she was trying to sell was counterfeit. Yeah, that it was a fake diamond. So they show up to arrest her, but Drew steps in to protect her, threatening to go public with what Victor, being a former head of the WSB, did to him. So he and Michael kind of team up to protect Tracy. And then they call Anna for help to kind of get this sorted out so that Tracy doesn't have to go to jail. Maxie tells Austin that she really does like him and she wants to be with him, but she can't until everything is settled with her daughter and Louise is back. Now, Anna is there handling the situation with Tracy and the WSB, and so she goes to see Maxie to tell her that Valentine has a lead on Louise, which, you know, Maxie's shocked to hear, and Austin is shocked to hear, but at the same time, he's replaying events in his mind between Maxie and Brooklyn, and y'all, I think he has figured it out. Yeah. It's also Spencer's day to report to prison, and so everybody's at Kelly's to give him a send-off. But all he can think about is Trina, because he hadn't heard back from her since Esme, you know, did what she did. And so he sneaks off to the gallery to see Trina. That is your recap for Wednesday. Let's get on to Thursday.
Are you interested in buying a home or a lease purchase? Do you need help fixing your credit? You need the real estate go-to girl, Priscilla Adams. Or are you interested in selling your home? Have you inherited a property on the verge of foreclosure, filing for bankruptcy or divorce? Do you need a quick cash sale? Are you interested in a career in real estate? Whatever your real estate need, call the go-to girl, Priscilla Adams, at 318-605-1120 or email padams@kw.com.
All right, so on Thursday, Sonny and Phyllis are catching up and having a talk, and he confides in Phyllis and tells her about being off his meds and Nina intervening and spending the night with him. And Phyllis asks him, you know, does his wife know all that? And of course, he has to tell her no. And y'all, Phyllis, she just shakes her head. She's just like, no. Because Phyllis, she can see where this is going, and she can see that it's not going to end well if Nina and Sonny keep having these interactions together, especially that Carly doesn't know about. But you know, y'all, I love how Sonny has such great relationships with the Black women on the show, with Phyllis and with Stella, and he just loves them and he confides in them and he considers them such close friends, and it's just beautiful to see. So I really like that. Okay, so Drew and Britt end up hanging out at the pub. What an unlikely couple to be together just hanging out. But they sit and they talk and they have a really good conversation, and he kind of tells her what happened with him and Sonny, because of course he sees Sonny when he walks in. And during the time that Drew's sitting there hanging out with Britt, Sonny does send a drink over for Drew, and it's his way of apologizing. And later on, Drew does go over and have a sit down with Sonny, and they talk it through, and he really apologizes to Drew, and they're, you know, back on good terms. So I really like that. That was cool. Austin, you guys, tells Maxie that he knows the truth about Louise and what BLQ and Maxie have been doing. And at first, he's pretty upset that she lied to his face and that she didn't trust him enough to confide in him. But, you know, she explains everything to him, and they end up kissing and making up. Okay, so let's talk about these teens, y'all. You know, Spencer snuck off to see Trina at the art gallery, where Trina just had a really great conversation with Ava, and Ava actually tells her that sometimes for a person to change, it takes a really good solid person that they care about in their lives to really be honest with them and for their opinion to really matter to them. And she tells Trina that she thinks that she's that person for Spencer. So that's actually really kind of sweet that, you know, Ava is actually still being honest with Trina about how she really thinks Spencer cares about her. But so anyway, you guys, you know, Spencer shows up to the gallery with Trina, and they are having such a sweet heart to heart and are right about to kiss when Esme walks in. But you know Esme is not going to let that happen. No, ma'am. No way. So she makes a lot of noise to make sure that they hear her and back up before she actually comes in. Okay, so, oh, and by the way, so everybody else shows up because they know he's caught between Trina and Esme. So Laura shows up, his dad and Ava, and then Laura takes him off to Spring Ridge. Now, let's talk about Dante and Mack are actually transporting Peter back to Pentonville. And as they're transporting him back, guess what happens, you guys? Yeah, they get ran off the road. We kind of expected that, didn't we? So let's get on to Friday and see what happened. All right, we are up to Friday, you guys. Okay, so Sonny is on the Haunted Star, and Christina helps him get it decorated and all ready and set up for his night with Carly. But, you know, Christina's worried about her dad, so she ends up calling Carly and asking Carly if she's going to show up. And Carly's, you know, first tells Christina, this is really none of your business. But you know, she just can't have that conversation with her. She can't do it right now. So Christina actually misinterprets that and goes back to the boat with her dad and tells him that Carly is not coming. Now, Carly is actually on the bridge talking to Drew at the time. And Drew has a really good conversation with Carly. And he gets her to really kind of look at it from a different perspective. As if, you know, Sonny can't imagine his life without her and his family. And he's not giving her an ultimatum. It's kind of a cry for help. And he gets Carly to realize that she really doesn't want to give up on her marriage. Finally, isn't that all Sonny's been asking her to do? It's just not give up on their marriage and just try to work things out with him. Okay. So, Anna and Felicia are waiting for Mac to call to confirm that Peter is locked away in Pentonville. And they get worried because it's been past time for them to have received that call. And so they head out towards Pentonville. And of course, they come on the scene of the police van, which has been ran off the road. And you guys, Dante is hurt. Mac has been shot in bad shape. And of course, Peter is gone. Yeah. Okay. 2 of the guards are dead. So they call it in and start notifying people, letting them know that Peter has escaped. BOQ and Chase are actually finally talking about why she been tripping with him. Why she been going kind of back and forth, hot and cold with him. And she tells him she overheard his conversation with Dante. And he tells her, oh, you know, Brooklyn, I was just saying it to throw Dante off. You know, he was telling her that he, you know, really admires her and how much he cares for her. And they kind of talk about whether they can be more than friends. However, in the midst of that, they get a call from Dante telling them that Peter has escaped. And they rush into the room, and you guys, Bailey Louise is missing. She's gone. And y'all, we see that Peter already has her. Peter already has the baby and is making his getaway. After all of this, after all they went through, Peter has Louise. Gotta let that sink in. I didn't know if they would take it this far. Didn't know that they would actually let him escape and get the baby. Okay, so let's talk about Sonny and Nina. Let's kind of get back to them. So Liesl Obrecht overhears Christina telling her mom that Sonny's all alone on a 100 star and that he's in a bad way. So Liesl, of course, tells Nina, and what does Nina do, y'all? She takes her butt right on over there. So Carly hasn't shown up. We're not sure if Carly is going to show up because as she and Drew are talking and she finally realizes she's not ready to give up on her marriage, they get a call to let them know that Peter has escaped. So we don't know what Carly's going to do. But what we do know is Nina got her butt over on the boat with Sonny. So y'all, we got to tune in Monday to see how this goes. Yeah. Anyway, so it's been an explosive week on General Hospital this week. This is your recap for the week. We got to tune in next week to see what happens with Peter and Louise and the baby and a secret coming out. And we got to see what happens with Sonny and Carly and Nina. Take a look next week, you guys. If you don't get a chance to watch it, then I'll be watching. Thanks.